Imagine this. You are 65 years old. You have no savings, no business, no safety net. All you have is a beat up car, a pressure cooker, and a chicken recipe you believe in with every fiber of your being. So you get in that car and you drive. You knock on the first door. You cook your chicken. You make your pitch. They say no. You get back in the car. You drive to the next restaurant. They say no. You drive again. You knock again. You cook again. No, no, no. 100 times, 200 times, 500 times. No, no, no. And still, you keep driving. This is not a fictional story. This is not a Hollywood script. This is the real life of one man, a man who refused to let the world define his worth. His name was Harland Sanders, and by the time the world was done with his story, his face would be recognized in over 145 countries. Harland David Sanders was born on the 9th of September, 1890, on a small farm in Henryville, Indiana. Life handed him hardship before he was old enough to understand what hardship even meant. He was just 5 years old when his father passed away, leaving his mother alone to raise three young children. With no choice, his mother went to work long hours at a canning factory just to keep the family fed. And so little Harland, at just 5 years old, became the one responsible for cooking meals and caring for his younger siblings. By the age of 7, he had already mastered the basics of cooking. He didn't know it then, but the kitchen would one day become his kingdom. School was never easy for Harland. He dropped out after barely 2 weeks of seventh grade. By 16, he was working. By 17, he had already lost 4 different jobs. He tried the army. He tried the railroad. He tried insurance sales. He tried practicing law. Every door he walked through eventually closed behind him. His first marriage fell apart. His attempts at stability crumbled. But if there was one thing Harland Sanders had, it was a refusal to stay down. At the age of 40, Harland took a chance. He leased a small petrol station in Corbin, Kentucky, and because he saw hungry travelers passing through every day, he did what came naturally to him. He started cooking for them. At first, it was just steaks and country ham, served out of a tiny back room, but the food was good. Word spread. People came back, and slowly Harlan began to discover something. The one thing he'd been searching for his entire life had been with him since he was 7 years old, standing in that kitchen, cooking for his brothers and sisters. His gift was food. He refined his recipes. He experimented with spices. He developed a unique blend, 11 herbs and spices that made his fried chicken unlike anything people had ever tasted. The governor of Kentucky took notice and awarded him the honorary title of Kentucky Colonel. Life, for the first time, felt like it was going in the right direction, and then it all fell apart again. A new highway was built, redirecting traffic away from his restaurant entirely. His business collapsed overnight. At 65 years old, Harlan Sanders found himself with almost nothing. His only income was a Social Security check for $105 a month. For most people, they would have been the moment to give up, to accept that life had simply run out of road. But Harlan Sanders looked at that check and made a decision that would change everything. He packed his pressure cooker into his car, he put on his white suit, and he started driving. His plan was simple: visit restaurants across America, cook his chicken for the owners, and offer them the recipe in exchange for a small percentage of every chicken sold. It sounds straightforward. What followed was anything but. The first restaurant said no. The second said no. He drove on. He cooked. He pitched. He heard no. 10 times, 20 times, 50 times. No, no, no. He slept in his car on the side of the road to save money. He kept driving. He kept knocking. He kept cooking. 100 rejections. 200 rejections. People laughed at him. Some didn't even let him finish his pitch. Here was a 65-year-old man in a white suit sleeping in his car, convinced he had something the world needed. Most would have called it delusion. Harland Sanders called it belief. 300 rejections, 400, 500. Still, he drove. 600, 700, 800. The road stretched on. The no's kept coming. 900, 1,000. Can you imagine? 1,000 people telling you that you're wrong, that your idea is worthless, that you should go home. 1,009 rejections in total. And then one man said yes. His name was Pete Harmon, a restaurant owner in Salt Lake City, Utah. He tasted the chicken. He heard the pitch. And he said yes. That single yes, after 1,009 no's, became the first Kentucky Fried Chicken franchise in 1952. The recipe was an immediate sensation. Pete Harmon's restaurant sales tripled almost overnight. Word spread fast. Restaurant after restaurant wanted in. The man who had been sleeping in his car, living on a $100 Social Security check, suddenly found himself at the center of one of the fastest growing food businesses in American history. By 1964, just 12 years after that first yes, KFC had over 600 franchise locations across the country. That same year, Harland Sanders sold the company for $2 million. In today's money, over $15 million. He was 73 years old, and he had only just begun. He continued traveling, visiting KFC restaurants around the world, quality checking the food, ensuring his standard was upheld. His face became one of the most recognized on the planet. Today, KFC operates in over 145 countries. There are more than 27,000 locations worldwide. In Japan, eating KFC on Christmas Day has become a national tradition. And at the heart of it all, still in a vault in Louisville, Kentucky, sits the secret blend of 11 herbs and spices that one man refused to give up on. So what does the story of Harlan Sanders mean for you? It means that your age is never the barrier you think it is. It means that rejection is not the end of the road. It is simply part of the road. 1,009 people told Colonel Sanders he was wrong. 1,009 people looked at his dream and turned away. And every single one of them was wrong, because the only opinion that ultimately mattered was his own. Think about where you are right now. Maybe you've been told no. Maybe you've failed at things you believed in. Maybe life has redirected you down roads you didn't choose. Colonel Sanders lost his father at 5. He dropped out of school. He failed at job after job. He lost his business at 65. And from the ashes of all of that, he built something the entire world knows by name. If he had stopped at rejection number 500, there would be no KFC. If he had stopped at 900, there would be no KFC. If he had listened to the voice that said, "You're too old, it's too late, it's not going to work," there would be no KFC. But he didn't stop, and neither should you, because somewhere out there, your number 1010 is waiting. The one yes that changes everything. All you have to do is keep driving. If this story moved you, if it reminded you of why you started, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. And if you want more stories of extraordinary people who refuse to quit, subscribe, because we have so many more to tell. Until next time, keep believing, keep going. Your breakthrough is closer than you think.